Hey guys, what's going on? So today we're going to be taking a look at how much gold can you actually make without a trading guild or trading other players in the Elder Scrolls Online. So I'm just going to jump into the top 4 methods people would generally use. These are the most common non-trading money making methods, and they are okay, I suppose, if you have no other method of making money. And I will go over them now. I'll tell you what they are, I'll tell you how to do them, and I'll tell you roughly how much money you're going to get per hour with each of them. So essentially the first one we're going to look at then is your daily crafting rates. Okay, so usually this is one of the best money making methods in the game if you're willing to trade other players. However, you can still make okay money here if you are not willing to trade them, because you do get a base gold drop per character of 5,500 gold for completing every daily rate you have on that character. Now if you do this on all 18 characters that are available, you can make around about 100,000 coins per day, although I do have to sort of go into the reasons why this is probably not likely to happen and what makes this not as profitable as you would think. So a lot of people mention this as probably the best non-trading guild money making method. However, you have to take into account some of the actual more negative aspects of this, which I'm going to go over now. So the first thing is that you're going to have to level up 18 characters to get this 100,000 coins. So are you really going to do that? Probably not. You know, you can do your rates, of course, at a lower level, but no one really does this and you don't get such good rewards from doing that. Problem being also then is if you're not trading anyone, you're going to have to actually go and farm every material by yourself. So this includes farming all the materials to actually level the crafters, and this also includes having every single material to do every single crafting rate you get. So you're going to have to go and farm every piece of like small game by yourself. You're going to have to go and farm every single piece of, you know, runestone by yourself. These are really uncommon things that people don't really farm for. Even if you're going for something more common that you know you can farm, like rubidite, it's still quite a long time to go and gather enough resources to do all your crafting rates. And frankly, if you were just to trade the flat resources from mining your rubidite and platinum ores, you would make a lot more money than if you farmed them by yourself, didn't trade them, and then did your rates. So the second method we're going to look at then is thieving. So again, much like rates, generally this is one of the best money making methods in the game if you're going to trade with other players, but if you aren't, there are still some ways you can make gold here. So whenever you're farming and you're pickpocketing, say, NPCs, or even if you're just in a house and you're stealing from their furniture, like their wardrobes, you have a chance of getting a couple of different rarities of loot. So you can get some common, some fine, superior, or epic loots. Each of these go for different variations of coins. So a common is 40, a fine is 100, a superior is 250, and an epic is 1,500. Obviously, it's quite rare to get an epic. Superiors is a little bit less rare, fine less rare, common is, you know, common obviously. So while you're collecting these pieces of loot, you can essentially be expecting to sell these to what is called a fence for the exact amount listed on the piece of treasure. So if you take a fence and epic item, he's going to give you the 1,500 coins for that item. And there is unfortunately a limit per character per day. Now if you have level 20 leisureman on your character and you have all the correct passive slotted, you can indeed sell 140 items per day to him. Now I don't think it's realistic to sit here and think you're going to get 140 epic items or even close to it. I also don't think it's, you know, quite reasonable to think you maybe even get 140 of the superior items. I think it's more common if you're doing this properly. At maximum, you're probably going to be looking at maybe 30,000 coins per hour if you're getting quite lucky with the epics. So say you get 10 epics in an hour, that's 15,000. Say 50 superiors, which again I'm just overestimating here for toxic, you can get around 12,500 coins. And if you get the rest of them as fines and you leave all the commons on the ground, you can get probably another 8,000 coins. Okay, so we're looking at just over 30,000 coins here for whatever amount of time this would take. I think it would take more than an hour at least. But say you could do this in an hour at maximum, you know, you're looking at just over 30,000 coins without trading. And at that point, if you don't have another character, that is your daily allowance. You will need another character to continue doing this method. So again, while this is one of the best methods in the game, if you're willing to trade, if you're willing to trade your rare furnishing styles, willing to trade your rare motifs, you're, you know, willing to trade other bits and bobs like recipes, you can make, you know, hundreds of thousands of coins here from just one lucky drop. But if you're only going to be selling the treasures, you're going to make significantly less. So the next thing we're going to talk about then is farming ads. So as you know, every ad essentially will probably drop a couple of coins. They'll drop some random pieces of weapon or armor, and they can also drop random other things that you can just pick up and sell. Okay, so essentially the best place to be farming if you're just looking to farm ads is the Valamance in Reaper's March. This is the most common place to go because they drop the highest amount of gold, and they also drop some ornate items at times. So all you want to do is just continuously be looking around the Valamance, okay, killing all the NPCs you can see, just constantly looting their corpses, and if you have any sort of merchant you can sell the items to immediately, this is going to speed it up and increase your profit per hour. But you can't obviously just teleport out and then teleport back. Now it's calculated here, you make maybe 15,000 to 20,000 coins per hour. You know, this isn't an amazing amount of money. Again, farming ads can be a very profitable method if you're going to one of the newer DLC zones and you're actually farming the, you know, gear that people want to use right now that is new to the DLCs. You can probably make more from one item in the new DLC areas farming than you can make from an hour of just the gold you would get from the Firemonths. But again, if you don't want to trade, this is probably one of your better options. So again, the last thing we're going to talk about then is the antiquity skill line. So obviously you might think to yourself, oh, you're digging up some rare treasures there, some of these can be worth up to, you know, 5,000 coins, you know. Even if you complete the entire skill line, you do every single one of the leads, you get a little coin worth 100,000 coins. Now that sounds good on paper, but the sheer time investment you got to put into this makes it not worthwhile whatsoever. Okay, so in my experience, you're gonna have to level up your, you know, your antiquities guy, which is quite time consuming. I think it will take probably at least a day if you're really hardcore grinding it, and even then I don't think you're gonna get the max level. You're gonna have to do every single lead, you know, to get all the different treasures. Just the sheer amount of time from riding around, digging everything up, finding all the leads, etc, etc. It really isn't worth your time, and you do only get that 100k coin once per character. So this becomes a really unprofitable method. It is something that you will technically get some okay coins from. This is something that can be quite profitable again if you are willing to use treasure maps, for example. So I've made a video about our treasure maps worth it, where I basically went on the high out treasure maps and dug up some of the very rare Breton motifs. Now some of those motifs can sell for 900,000 coins, etc, and really make your, you know, entire day worth it from one treasure map if you get lucky. But if you were never going to trade those motifs, those would be very bad, and antiquities would be very bad overall. So that is pretty much the 4 money making methods you would be using if you don't want to trade or you don't have a guild trader. Okay, so now I'm just going to give my view on trading and if you should be part of trading guilds or if it's okay not to be. In my opinion, just to be harsh, if you're not in a trading guild and you're not going to trade other players, you're never going to be rich. You're never going to really get everything that you want, and the game is being made really hard for no real reason. Okay, so there are many guilds out there with traders, even if they're not maybe the best 1% of trading guilds. There are many guilds out there with traders that you can still use to sell items to other players that don't, you know, charge fees, that you don't have to talk in. If you really want to, you can turn off text chat and be in the guilds and not interact. That is an option. But I think if you're not willing to trade with other players in this particular MMO, you're never going to be close to anywhere where you want to be. And if you are, you're going to have to put in maybe 10, 20, 30 times the amount of hours as a normal person would have to put in order to be able to collect everything in this game. There's almost no way you're going to do it yourself. You would have to live maybe 10 lifetimes to farm every single furnishing in this game manually, every single motif in this game manually. All of that's RNG. You're more likely to get maybe 10 of the same like unrare motif than you are to get one of the mega rares. Say you weren't playing the game for the past couple of years, there's a lot of things like monster mask motifs and shoulder motifs and rare event items that you could never get your hands on unless you traded another player. So whenever you really look at it, when it comes down to it, this game's been out for 9 years now. Okay, that means every single player who's been playing for 9 years has passively made all of this money. Okay, so maybe they're not particularly spending an hour thieving, they're not spending an hour killing ads, but they are looting as they're doing random stuff in random dungeons. They're going to have passively made hundreds of thousands of gold. That causes inflation because they're not trying to make the money, they just have the money, so now they don't really care about spending it. They get what they want a little bit faster. Okay, so long story short then is you can make some gold without a trading guild if you feel the need, but 100% I recommend joining one, and you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't join a trading guild or trade other players, in my opinion. So hopefully you found this video helpful, hopefully you enjoyed the discussion. If you have any other takes or opinions on it, leave a comment down below and we'll get into it. But if you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay.